Welcome back, everyone. If you guys are watching this video, then the sale that we're about to talk about is live. There should be a link for everything that we're going to show here today down below in the video description if you guys are interested in picking any of it up. But Olight just dropped a bunch of new products, as you probably guessed from the title and the video description, and we're going to walk through a few of them that were sent out to me by Olight, just full disclosure on that, to show you guys how they perform. So one that I think a lot of people will be interested in is this little guy right here. This is the Baton Turbo. So obviously a super compact little light here. However, it is 1,000 lumens and it has over 60,000 candela. Obviously we have that two-way switch on there as well that you can actually remove if you want to, the clip rather, not switch. On the end there, it is magnetic rechargeable. It comes with a rechargeable battery, as you would imagine, and it is an 18350. However, it also comes with this little adapter here if you guys want to use CR123A batteries as well. So it does come with the option for both, but again, has that higher powered battery from the factory as you would expect. And yeah, it is a thrower for sure. Like I said, 60,000 candela, as you guys will see here in just a second. And so for the new folks here, we're gonna talk about the products, and then we're going to show you how they actually perform at night in low light conditions for everything that we're about to show here today. But that is the Baton Turbo. I think a lot of folks will dig that. Another one that a lot of people will like is this guy right here. This is the Seeker 4 Pro, and it does come with this little holster here. It's not just a holster, it does have the magnetic charging capability that most of your Olight products will have as well. But when it's actually in the holster itself, it can use a USB-C to recharge it. And then it also comes with a wall mount that you could use to clip your holster in there if you want to just leave it for whenever you need it. Go ahead and grab it and have it be ready. But this one here, a ton of output as well, up to 17,000 candela. And it really is sort of an overall balanced beam pattern. So it's got plenty of candela. Again, for most situations, 17,000 is going to be a good bit. However, it has a lot of flood as well, so a good balanced beam pattern overall, as you guys will see. The activation switch is right there, and basically it lets you know the battery status as well as the power output of the light itself, where it is currently at. They've made that type of switch for a while now. A lot of people like them. It also helps prevent accidentally turning it on, like if it's in your pocket or something like that. So very smart design in that regard. Then we have this guy here, which is the Perun, or Perun, I don't know how to pronounce that, but it is the 3. This one, most of them historically have had a switch on top. This one has a side switch, which is kind of cool. I actually like that. And it also comes with this head mount here, so that way if you want to use it as a head mounted light while you're working and you have both hands free, it gives you that option as well. Obviously we do have our magnetic tail cap there for charging. We have a lot of texture on the actual body of the light itself for cooling, and then additionally for cooling, the actual head of it has the vents as well, so that way it helps cool it down and not overheat, because this thing is 3,000 lumens from this little light right here, and it is a wall of light. So you guys will see it has a great spill, great flood, and basically to work the power function on it, you just press the side buttons and it will go through, and then you can double click for your turbo. And then when it's in the off position right here, if you double click from off, it will come on with a red light. So if you want to use that under your headlamp, I know a lot of applications for red light, you really don't want to have a negligent discharge of your white light. You want red light only, and it is very easy. You don't have to go through the white light to get to the red light like a lot of lights that have both make you do. Again, just double click and it goes to red from the off position. So that certainly is a well thought out design, and again has all the cooling features because it is a pretty high output light for the size. Then we have this guy right here, which is the Olight Arkfeld. This is the Ultra model. It has the styling that you guys see here. However, I don't have one here, but Olight is offering a version of this. I think they call it the Pause version, and they're donating to homeless animals, homeless dogs as well, with each purchase of that. But basically we have our selector lever here up front, and you can pick your UV light if you guys want to use the UV light for whatever you might be using UV light for. There's actually quite a number of reasons why you want to do that, and then you switch it over into the center position, and that will give you the laser capability, the green pointable laser. And then if you switch it over there into the light all the way on the right, then you have your white light function, 1400 lumens. So it definitely has a good bit of output for a light of this size. Of course, tail cap chargeable, and the tail caps are also magnetic, so you can stick it on things and it will stay there. Additionally, we have a two-way clip on there. A lot of the earlier Arkfelds didn't have that. They had a one-way clip. A lot of people requested a two-way clip just because it gives you more versatility in terms of carrying it in your pocket, or if you want to, if I can stick it on there, use it as, again, sort of like a modified headlamp to go hands-free with it. It does just give you more options overall. And the last thing that they have that a lot of people like, my wife likes these, is their new sphere. This thing right here is can be used for a ton of different things for emergency lighting. Like if the power goes out and you want a really long runtime of a light to illuminate things, this will do it pretty well and do so omnidirectionally. I think most people though are gonna like this because it is going to be used as an accent light. There's a number of different color configurations that you can program it into. Additionally, it hooks up to your cell phone as well, and you can manually control all of the output of it in terms of blinking, flashing, changing colors throughout the rainbow of colors. There's a lot that you can do with this light, and then of course it does have the magnetic charging on there as well. It does come with a coin that you can mount anywhere. So it's a metal coin. You can mount it on a wall, you can mount it on a desk, whatever you want, and then this will stick to it and work as an accent light. That's what my wife uses these for. She uses tons of them. So they're all around the house, but this one here has that clear outside layer to it. And what that does is it really does help, I guess, amplify the light signature that comes off of this little package here. And with that, I think that's pretty much it. We're gonna wait for the lights to go down, check out the beam pattern, and then come back. For the new folks, if you guys are watching on a computer, I definitely recommend turning your monitor brightness all the way up. That will make it as close to what I see here as possible. We have our camera on manual, and right now you guys are looking at the Baton Turbo on low. You can see that little hotspot there. Where the wood fence meets the iron fence is approximately 30 yards away. Trees in the background are going to be anywhere from 30 to 50 yards, and we're just going to work through the different modes. And you guys will see pretty intense little hot spot, and then if we double click, we're gonna get that 60,000 candela plus beam. You guys can see the trees in the back there, very well illuminated. We do have a hard edge though on the spill, and it really just drops off completely after that, which is kind of what you'd expect from a thrower type of light. In a little bit we're going to step across the lake and see how it does at distance. Now you're looking at the output from that Perun 3, and we're just going to work through the modes again, pressing that side button. Low, medium, high. It of course also has a extremely low mode for those of you guys who want to maximize battery life. And then of course if we double click it, that will send it into turbo, and you guys can see it is a straight wall of light. We essentially have, if I had to guess, probably 170 degrees of output. If we go all the way off camera, about 90 degrees, you can see there's still some light out there where that wood fence meets the iron fence. So not as much candela as some of the other offerings, but again, just giving you great situational awareness all the way around. We're going to turn it off and then turn on the red portion as well. And we double click for red. Obviously nowhere near as bright, but a lot of folks like red for low light situations that you don't want to, or you want to minimize the amount of damage, if you will, temporary damage that you're doing to your night vision, your natural night vision with your eyes. So red does that very well, and it's just a nice option to have. Now we see the output on low from the Seeker 4, and obviously very little light coming out. We're going to work through the different modes by just rotating the dial there on the side. And there you go. That thing right there has got a good bit of candela. It's also a wall of light, but probably a little bit less flood on the edges than what you guys were seeing there with the earlier light. And of course, double clicking, oops, there you go. That is your turbo. And then double click, go back down. If we triple click, that will give you your strobe mode. Right now we have just the natural illumination from the moon. If we click on the Arkfeld Ultra with the UV mode, that is what you see. You get a little bit of added illumination at this distance, but it's obviously not designed for that. The UV light has a lot of uses. You guys can talk about them down below in the comments section, and then we'll just switch through the actual toggle there out there on the front, and that is your green laser. Very bright. Especially in the dark out here. The camera doesn't do it justice. It really does jump out at you. And then of course, if we actually switch over to the white light mode, we're going to work through the different modes by just pressing and holding. Just like that. And if we double click, that will give you your strobe. And if we go back to normal mode and then we triple click, that will go into turbo. And there you go. So that is the output there. Nice, wide, floody beam pattern, a little bit of candela. Definitely will get out of distance a little bit, but nothing like what we saw there with some of the earlier, 60,000+ candela options. Right now we have the output from the sphere, obviously with white light, a little bit of tree behind me. We also have the fence pretty darn close. And if we just kind of work through the different modes, you'll see some of the different lighting features that it has. Again, though, to get the most out of this, you definitely want to utilize the app. But even without it, you can do a good bit. That will dim it down to obviously less light, and then just kind of work through the different options. We have red, and then we have red signaling if you guys wanted to use that for whatever reason. And then obviously our multicolor mode. That's probably hard to tell on camera, but it's switching between basically all the different colors of the rainbow. And then that is doing the exact same thing, just brighter and dimmer. And that there is kind of like a blue-green hybrid. And then obviously a little bit of flashing with all the different colors as well. So there's just a ton of options out there how you can use this. You can sync it with music. You can use it as background lighting. Tons of options, and the battery life is quite long as well. So that is the sphere. So we move positions so that way we can see how these lights do at greater distances. I'm about 10 yards back on my property. The lake here from shore to shore at the angle we're filming at is going to be about 110 yards. And then there's a little fishing shack that's about 10 yards back on my neighbor's property that you guys are going to see. So about 130 yards is what we're going to look at. And here we have the Baton turbo. That is going to be on low. We're going to work through the different modes and kind of let you guys see how it is. Obviously that is on high, and then we're going to click it, double click for turbo. And that is turbo. And as you guys can see there, the light almost looks like a laser beam at this distance. But if we zoom in, what I always say is that zoomed in, this looks as close to what I see with my human eye. Cameras are funny, but that's what I see when I'm looking at it right now in terms of clarity at that point. So if somebody was standing out there, you would absolutely be able to see them. You would absolutely be able to describe what they're wearing. If they had something in their hand, you would be able to positively identify that for sure. But of course, that bright illuminated area is very narrow. And if we look out here in the trees, same kind of thing. If there was something in those trees, I'd be able to very easily identify it. But of course, as we move just off center there, now, of course, that little fishing shack is not quite as well illuminated. Now we have the output from the Seeker 4 Pro. One thing you'll notice that we probably didn't notice before with that Baton is that we do have our rosemary bush on my side of the property that is illuminated right here, even though we're oriented at the house. So that is the benefit of flood and giving you greater situational awareness. And again, we're just going to kind of work through the different modes. And that is all the way up on turbo. So again, you're getting very good information from out there at that fishing shack. Again, if somebody's out there, easily would be able to identify them. Would I be able to discern a gun from a cell phone in their hand? Probably not. So you need just a little bit more juice for that, a little bit more candela. However, one thing you'll notice here is that even though I'm oriented right now in that fishing shack, all those trees are very well illuminated, as well as lots of other things. Even the grass on my side here of the lake, very bright. It's almost actually washing the camera out. It's so bright. So that is the benefit of flood for sure. Now we have the output here from the Perun 3, and we're just going to work through the different modes again on that. This one here, nowhere near as much candela as what we just saw, but roughly 6,000 plus, and you can definitely identify that fishing shack over there. Would you be able to get a lot of details out of it? Not sure. Once again, that is a much better representation of what I actually see, and we're going to actually move into the turbo mode with this guy to maximize those candela, and that is what you get right there. So if somebody's out there, definitely would be able to tell they were out there. Might have a little bit of a hard time describing what they're wearing. Colors might be off, things like that. But you definitely can still tell it's out there, and obviously a much floodier beam than what we just saw. So you're getting greater flood, slightly less candela. Everything is a trade-off with lights. There's no free lunch. So that is the output of that guy. Now that y'all have seen the beam pattern of these lights, there's not really a ton more for me to say. If you guys, again, are looking to pick any of these up, there will be a link down below in the video description. It is an affiliate link, full disclosure on that, and they did send these out, but I do think some of these are pretty cool. This one, of all the lights, to me personally, this one I think is the coolest. 60,000 candela in something this size at 1,000 lumens. It's impressive, to say the least. And then I also like this guy too. We're going to use this one around the house a lot for sure. I've been mounting it up over my gun bench and using it as an accessory light for that. So it's already been put to use, and I think that will continue. The nice wall light feature that it does have, as well as the long runtime, I dig it, but you guys might prefer the other one. So if that is the case, then there's nothing wrong with that. We all have different preferences of the lights that we use, because we use them for different applications depending on what we actually do. I think that makes sense to most of you out there. Before we close the video out, one thing I always like to bring up in any type of Olight video is that if you guys watch this video, if you clicked on it after seeing the thumbnail and the title, and for whatever reason you got upset about the video existing, there is mental health resources down below in the video description that you guys can click on and hopefully get some help with that, because that is a sign of mental illness. And I definitely wish, if that is you and you're watching this and you're really upset, that you guys get some help and your life will improve. So with that, that's it. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you in the next video.